Hey guys, my name is Aceroth, and today I'm bringing you another Killzone 3 video. This is a game that I just played today. It's Monday, and I believe it's the last day of the beta, so I'm trying to get in some more gameplay before it goes offline until release day. There's not too much of a wait, just over a week until the game gets here. It comes February 22nd, so we don't have to wait too long. I'm really excited for it. It's going to be great. Anyway, in this game, I'm playing the Tactician class, and I usually play the Medic. I like the LMGs just because they're really good for clearing out rooms, and I find that you have to do that a lot, especially in games like Warzone, where you often have objective games like Search and Destroy, where you gotta rush this one room, and usually the entire enemy team is camping that one room. But I'm playing the Tactician today because I heard a lot of good things about this assault rifle I'm using. It's called the M82, I believe, and it's the second one you unlock. It's the third one available for the Tactician, and it's a really great gun. It's really solid. It's got little recoil. It's very easy to stay on target. It's got great hip spread. Of course, most of the guns in this game have great hip spread, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that a little bit later in the video. But it's just a really reliable gun all around. It's really easy to shoot. By the way, I'm going to speed up parts of the video just because Warzone is a long game mode. This particular game lasted 25 minutes, and I even spawned in after it had started. If you guys noticed, the video started after we had won round one already. So I'm going to be speeding it up at parts. In fact, I'm probably going to actually end up even having to split it into two videos even after that. So, oh well. Anyway, coming up right here, I'm about to run into a turret, and turrets can be kind of tricky, but really if you shoot them with your primary weapon, they go down pretty fast, so it's not too much of a problem. And then right after that, right here, I can hear a guy walking towards me, and unfortunately he gets the kill, partly because he had an SMG and I had an assault rifle, and also partly because I was shooting at his knees, which is not usually the best thing to do. But I did want to say that I really like the sound in this game so far, the gun sounds as well as the footsteps. So it's really clear to hear. You can hear what kinds of material they're walking on really clearly, everything like that. So I'm very satisfied with that so far. Now you're going to see me pick something up here. This thing right here, it's a mortar beacon, and they come at I think it's at each capture point that you can capture with the Tactician. I could be wrong with that. They might be only at the back spawn and the middle spawn, because I haven't picked one up from the front spawn, but I imagine there's one there. And you can throw it on the ground and it calls down a mortar strike, and that's really good. So what I'm doing here with it is I'm trying to throw it into their middle spawn there, so that I can go in and hopefully another Tactician on my team can go in and we can capture that middle spawn, because it's really important to capture that spawn. But as you can see, even though I threw the mortar and I even got I think I got 2 assists from it, I died, so I wasn't really able to capitalize on that very well, unfortunately. But those mortar beacons can be really effective. I've actually never gotten more than 1 or 2 kills with them, so it's not like something like I don't know, the mortar strike in Call of Duty can be really effective. The one in Black Ops, if you place it right, you can get a bunch of kills, multi-kills and stuff. But I'm sure you could do that in this game, but since the maps are so big, it's a lot easier to avoid stuff like that. So I don't usually end up getting a lot of kills when I use that mortar strike, but it's still definitely helpful. If you use it for like area denial like I was doing, so that you can advance on an objective, then it works pretty well. Just prevent the enemy from even being able to walk through an area. Okay, coming up here is where I'm going to talk about the hip fire. I actually kind of fail here. This guy runs from the middle spawn and I try to shoot him. As you can see, I miss him a lot, and then here I gun him down, but it's still sort of spraying and praying. But the hip spread is really good if you control your fire. And then right after this is an example of how it's bad when you don't control your fire. Here I'm just going to hold down the trigger, and you'll see what happens. There you go. You see how my crosshairs kept spreading out and I couldn't hit him, so I had to eventually aim down the sight. So you got to be careful about that, but that's not to say that the hip spread is sometimes good and sometimes bad. The hip spread is always good as long as you know how to control your shots. So pay attention to that, and it can be really useful. You don't always need to aim down your sights like in Call of Duty. In fact, it's often more beneficial not to aim down your sights and just to fire from the hip. Alright, coming up here, I'm going to do something that I probably shouldn't have done. I'm going to run in and try to capture this point all by myself with no teammates, and that was a really bad idea because they're all going to be spawning there probably, because there was a big fight going on right there, and it's a high traffic area. And when you spawn, there's a moment of invincibility, so I wouldn't be able to kill him anyway. In fact, there have been times when I've emptied entire clips into them, and they just absorb all the damage right when they spawn, so it's just not worth it. You need to clear them out first, and then have at least 2 tacticians go in there. But, you know, gotta learn somehow. Alright, here, I didn't even see that turret back there. You guys might have noticed me walk right by it. But here you go again. You can just kind of strafe around it. Like, when you upgrade the engineer a little bit, the turrets get better. They can track better, and they can fire rockets, but early on they're pretty easy. Now, I picked up this LMG here, and you might be wondering why, because I was raving about that assault rifle. But my goal here is to go in and get this spawn now that I have 1 or 2 teammates around me, and I can see that since it's search and destroy and we're on offense, they're going to be moving towards the objective to defend, so it's more likely to be clear. But as you can see, I didn't really need it. I was going to use it to clear out the spawn if there were any stragglers, but there were none, so it was kind of useless. And it's too bad because I like the other gun more, but we also didn't have many engineers on our team, so we didn't have many ammo crates, so it might have been better to pick up another gun anyway. So there you saw me throw a mortar beacon again, and I threw it onto their spawn, back there behind the objective. My goal there, I think is pretty obvious, but I'll say it anyway, is just to deny them that location. Just because when we're planting charges and defending them, obviously it's good not to have them spawning right next to us. So that worked fairly well, I guess. I don't know. I didn't get any kills or assists, so they might not have even bothered spawning there, which is kind of strange because they should have spawned there. Anyway, we get this search and destroy, these search and destroy charges off pretty much just in time. We were running out of time. You can see we have 40 seconds on the clock there, and I think that we partly were able to do that because we took that middle spawn point so that they couldn't be spawning there and just sort of cutting us off at our spawn. So now we're playing search and retrieve. I'm going to speed up this section in the video though, because I don't really do much. I'm just kind of running around, dying every now and then, and getting a few kills every now and then. Moving back over here, thinking about taking the spawn, but I decided it's a bad idea. Instead, I decided to shoot this thing on the floor. I don't know what I thought that was. I think it was just maybe a beacon for an air bot or something. I don't even know what it was. Anyway, moving on. I think up here in a bit, I'm gonna have a little interesting sort of yeah, coming up right here. There's an interesting spot right there. I got my neck broken. Yikes. But I'm going to talk a little bit about what I was thinking there and why I did what I did, and that's kind of just for you folks who haven't seen my videos before and or don't watch my Call of Duty videos. That's what I like to talk about. I like to look at specific spots in videos and talk about why I did certain things. So here it is. So we're coming up. The objective's in the middle of the bridge here. I see that guy there. I decided to throw a grenade. Admittedly, that was probably not the best idea because he was coming out. But I get both of these kills, and then I run here, and then I run back. Obviously, my objective is not over here, but as most of you probably know, you don't want to just charge blindly in, especially when I was almost dead there. So what I was doing there was just waiting for my teammates. I was waiting so that I had some support, and I wasn't just running through on my own. So now I've got 1 or 2 teammates. Unfortunately, I make a stupid mistake here. I just run out in the doorway and I die. But you saw what my original strategy was, so I just wanted to point that out. Here I'm just waiting. I don't think that there are any medics on my team, which is kind of unfortunate, but I was just seeing how those guys did. We've already lost all our spawn points. I think for the majority of this game, I was the only tactician. I know towards the end we had another tactician coming in, helping out, so it's kind of hard to run around. I was either the only tactician or there was only one other one. It's kind of hard to run around and keep track of all of the objectives at once. Alright, now here's a spot I want to talk about, because this is something that frustrates me. So I hear this guy behind me, he's shooting at me, he missed, so I'm going to go over here, take cover, shoot at him. I feel like I put a lot of shots on him, then look, he gets that melee off, and then he dies. Now, I think obviously that's something that shouldn't happen. If I put enough bullets in him to kill him, he should not be able to activate the melee animation and kill me. You know, that's my personal opinion. I think that makes sense, and I hope that that's just something that happens in the beta that will get addressed later, but I don't know for sure. You know, one can hope, but I'm not in any way affiliated with GG, so I can't make any calls on what's going to be in the final version. And I hope that they keep up with the community and update as things go. You know, respond to community feedback, kind of like Treyarch is doing. Hopefully they take a little more time in their patch process though, so there's not as much, like Treyarch tends to fix something and then, you know, with that fix something else breaks. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Anyway, I'm gonna cut the video here right at the start of this assassination round, and the second part will be up soon. And I'm just gonna do the same sorts of things, just talk about certain things I did. But yeah, if you liked this video and you like videos like this, please feel free to comment, rate, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching.